Good evening, people, and welcome to another episode of the Run and Gun Podcast. I'm JPeeps.
Ace. I guess I got.
We have a special
I ain't.
episode
I
for
ain't
you.
Flash. By the way, JP's putting it on Twitter. You can have Flash on tonight.
Okay, you know what? We all make mistakes, but look, I mean, honestly, literally, I mean, we all make mistakes, but at the
Yep.
same time, we all make dumb decisions in our lives that sometimes may ruin our lives, like some
Damn
people.
right.
But we're going to talk about that tonight. But we're also going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about a a couple of beatdowns that went on this weekend.
Some positives and homecoming.
Yeah. Oh yes, a lot of
We're not
positive.
only doom and gloom on this show, JP. Come on
Oh yeah,
now.
no, we're not doom and gloom. There's a lot of trades that went down. There's a lot of good things that happened as
Mm-mm.
well.
Ain't no trades went down
As if you went down.
over
It's just
glorified day.
we were talking about the doom and gloom before we came on this live feed, so I had to kind of just just take a little jab at it, peel back
Okay.
a little bit. But
All right.
people, we have a
That's
we have
fair
a great
enough.
episode. We have a great episode tonight. Actually, there is one HBCU coach actually already got fired, so we'll talk about that too.
Ain't Dion? I'll talk about it. I saw something about Dion. I'm not sure if it's true or not. I gotta ask about that.
It probably is, honestly. To be real with you, it likely is based on what I've seen this week, just driving to Tallahassee and from what I heard. So it wouldn't even surprise me what you heard probably because it's
Yeah.
likely true. But yeah, don't
All
don't go
right.
anywhere.
You know where to find us. Like, share, subscribe, retweet us, help spread the love. Be a friend,
Yes,
tell a friend, leave some comments. Tell us what you guys think about the background for we're trying something new out for this episode. So give us some
yeah,
feedback. Love to hear it. And now let's hit
mhm,
this in, J Peeps. Let this going.
yes. So yeah, y'all don't go anywhere. Y'all sit back. Y'all relax. The intro's next. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is GP.
This is the Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash. This is Jimi Hendrix.
And you are listening to
And you are listening to
And you're listening to
And you're listening to the Run and Gun Podcast.
Let's get this rolling.
Yes. And before we get this rolling, also to keep in mind that is going down this Saturday, an hour before kickoff at 7 o'clock. So make sure you are tuned in and you are watching, just like you were tuned in and watching this. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first of all, before I really open my mouth, I want to hear from you, Ace. What did you see this weekend as far as FAMU's homecoming against Grambling?
I mean, I thought it was an electrifying atmosphere there. I wasn't like the third highest ever total for like people showing up at the game itself.
That was the third largest attended homecoming in school history. The largest was homecoming 1996 with like 30
Yeah.
almost near 34,000 people. Homecoming 97, which I still have the sweater from, was like 33,000 people. This homecoming had 31,887 people.
That's a lot of people. But
Yeah,
I mean, they were rocking Grambling. I didn't see too many Grambling fans in that stadium.
and you want to and see, here's the interest, and here's where I really go off. Because the funny thing was, all off season we heard constantly, Grambling was going to come in to this. Grambling was going to come in and take over Tallahassee because Grambling felt so disrespected for being scheduled as the homecoming opponent, and they were like, you don't do that in the SWAC. You don't do that in the SWAC and stuff. And okay, fair enough. Talk your trash on Twitter, but when you get to the game, you better back it up. And honestly, dude, they didn't back it up, man. Like they got punched in the mouth. I can honestly tell you, they got punched in the mouth before from the word go. And then on top of that, then that's the sorry officiating that went on in that game. There's an obvious face mask on Jamari Shareed, and you don't call it. And then that results in a scuffle taking place at the 50-yard line, basically on FAMU side, where all of Grambling's bench basically rushed over to FAMU side for this scuffle. And like all I can say is, for one, that is very undisciplined. That's a very undisciplinary act by Grambling, I felt. And I was very disappointed in a Broderick Fobbs coached team. And honestly, I can tell you this too. Eddie Robinson would have been very disappointed in what he saw from Grambling. It's I mean, a lot of people say it's bad for the game and stuff, but at the same time too, I mean, you have things like that happen when you have a new kid on the block that kind of has been kicking everyone's ass, so to speak. And that's what's happened here in the SWAC. So, I mean, honestly, Grambling was getting physically dominated. They didn't like it because they know, heck, we're Grambling. We're not used to getting pushed around like this. And yet you got called into town for a homecoming and you're getting your butt kicked already. Like, I mean, I can understand you're going to want to fight, but you have to stay disciplined. And it's true. Oh, Grambling's not a disciplined football team right now or this season. So,
I mean, I kind of anticipated like FAMU coming in, and I thought they were going to punch Grambling around because I was looking at Grambling's previous games. They weren't looking that sharp in how they've been playing, and I was like, I think FAMU's got a shot just to run the table on them here. Are you sure?
Oh yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Of course. And that makes me ask you this question again for the second consecutive week. In America, y'all feel free to chime in and comment. If you want to leave a comment, you make sure you head on over to YouTube to leave a comment. But yeah, Ace, I'll leave this to you.
I think I said this last week, and I'll say it again. If they win out, their schedule isn't that bad. I don't know why like they're saying like they had a weak schedule or what, but losses have come. One was to the leader of the SWAC East, and it's Jackson State, and then you have another one to an FBS school in USF, albeit not that great. I mean, that's still two good teams compared to most of the other teams that some other schools have played. So you gotta say where is there such a big difference in their schedule compared to some other teams that you might want to put in over them? So I mean, if Jackson State wins it out and they win the SWAC, and then you got FAMU, whose only loss came to them, like their only SWAC loss came to Jackson State. It's kind of hard to say they don't belong if they win out and they only have 2 losses on their resume.
I'm with you there, and then my thing is too, because I'm looking at some of the, because we have fans that send us stuff too. I'm looking at some of the the bracketology, and yes, bracketology people is for more than just the NCAA tournament. So I'm seeing most brackets where FAMU's part of the first 8 out of the playoffs or the first 4 out. And I'm seeing where schools like, Weber State and Mercer are getting like the bid to get in over FAMU. And I'll say this, look, guys, those teams do not have better records than FAMU. I think FAMU could beat those 2 teams in particular on a neutral field. But you got to look at why offensive production matters. And quite frankly, FAMU's winning these games, but FAMU's not putting up the points, I think.
That is true. And up until this game against Grambling, they have been having to come back on a lot of teams. So that's also got to take that into consideration. They're not blowing everybody out.
Well, not even trying to
until this Saturday.
But just getting like, like not because honestly, I think everybody expected most of these games to be blowouts with more consistent quarterback play. I mean, give or take, Rashawn McKay's a game manager. He is. I've said it numerous times, and sometimes all you need is a game manager to win. But I think people wanted more and more people. I think we were spoiled with Ryan Stanley, and a lot of people didn't appreciate him either until he was gone because FAMU would win games by 40 with him under center. So I mean that's part of it. But it's going to be an interesting game this weekend too in Baton
I
Rouge
mean,
against.
if you had told me at the beginning of the college football season that FAMU would have the best record out of all these Florida schools, D1 Florida schools, I'd have said, yeah, I'm believing that. Sure enough, all these Florida schools are all pretty much dumpster fires.
The
So I
only
mean,
bowl eligible
FAMU is like the only one with actual stability. Every other
just hey.
one has major questions going on. Heck, even one of them just got penalized by the NCAA for stupid nonsense that happened in 20 whatever with Charlie Strong's stupid stuff, but we'll get into later.
Exactly.
But I mean,
The writing's on the wall.
got me so I got Alabama State so wrong, man. I did not see that coming.
You had Alabama State
With
wrong.
Alabama State. Well, I see they fired their head coach. I was like, I thought they would have beat up Alabama A&M.
Oh no, dude. Honestly, I watched FAMU and Alabama A&M, and then I even watched the Magic City Classic in the spring. Alabama A&M is just a way more physical team than Alabama State right now. And Don Ely's offense has like failed to really like be what it possibly was supposed to be, honestly. To give or take, Ezra Gray is a good running back, and they have a decent running committee, but it just wasn't there, dude. It just wasn't there. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me in the least bit. The one that did surprise me was Southern outlasting Alcorn on that last second field goal. I think it's a good thing.
Man, Alcorn is just like what's those things called, a seesaw?
Yeah,
like says it's up. At least I didn't have to pick that game this week.
I know. That brings me to this question right here.
Right now the SWAC's gonna run through Prairie View and Jackson State.
Yes, I'm with you there. I wouldn't say the sun has set necessarily, but
I'm just saying for like this season right now.
Oh yeah,
it's running through those two.
Oh yeah, for this season the sun is set. Alcorn's not playing after Thanksgiving weekend, or after Thanksgiving weekend, or no. Yeah, it is Thanksgiving weekend. My bad. Yeah, after Thanksgiving weekend, Alcorn's not playing any more football. They're not. Unless something was terribly wrong with Prairie View, they're not playing any more football after Thanksgiving. Now next year, who knows? Maybe. They'll probably work something out. But it ain't happening this year. I wouldn't say the sun is set necessarily. I still think Alcorn's going to be a good team. They're going to be at the top for a while. But not this year. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So what's up with this thing with Dion getting hospitalized?
So apparently he has some type of infection, and like this
That's from the same leg issue.
They said it wasn't. I'm not sure what's going on, but honestly, I feel like part of it is stress, and I don't care how confident and cool and relaxed Dion presents himself to be. Like it's hard to, especially at that level, at the collegiate level, to balance coaching, promoting, podcast, all in one. Because think about the duties that come with being a college football coach.
You have to recruit, scout, and game plan.
Exactly. Now think about how much effort goes into podcasting, like what we're doing right now.
Not that much.
Not that much.
There's actually there's a good enough planning schedule on what you want to do.
Exactly. And now factor in the fact that he's a promoter. Like, dude, you can't do just
Everything.
yeah, you can't do everything. If if Dion is going to be is going to be Coach Prime, you need to focus on being Coach Prime. You need to step away from Barstool. Focus on being Coach Prime. You're
You
trying to
have
be
yourself too many stretched out.
exactly. You're trying to be Spider-Man. You're shooting too many webs.
He's trying to be like he's 20 years old again. He's like 50 something now.
Exactly. You got too much dip on your chip, homie. You got to slow down. You got to slow down and just relax. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say on it. I'm gonna end this quarter with this. This is my last question.
You're looking at the wrong person for that one.
All I'm gonna say is this: I like South Carolina State right now to um to win the
Ain't they
comp.
beat Alcorn? That was the one who beat Alcorn.
That was NC Central.
NC Central. I get mixed up with all these Carolinas. They have too many Carolina schools. I swear to God.
I know they really do, and it's not just the HBCUs. It's like you got like University of South Carolina, then you got oh my God.
You have the Gamecocks. You got the SC State. You got UNC. You got Duke. You got NC State. NC Central. I think the Carolinas got more schools than Florida.
Exactly.
I get
It's
myself
crazy.
mixed up on who's who. My bad.
It's crazy.
All right, though.
Also, by the way, too, I wanted to point out, so Rashawn McKay last week on homecoming went 20 of 34, 204 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Terrell Jennings led the way with rushing, 12 carries, 54 yards. And then Xavier Smith led the way with receiving, 7 receptions, 72 yards. Didn't have a touchdown, but Jamar Shareed had himself a touchdown. And also, too,
Ain't Isaiah Land had a bounce back, I thought. He looked pretty good.
who?
Isaiah Land for
Oh,
FAMU.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I'm expecting him to continue
So that
to
just came
bounce
to my head. I was
back
like,
even more. Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and shift gears here over to the NFL.
doom and gloom.
So doom and gloom trades and every look. Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I mean, I'll go first if you want. Because I might go on a little mini rant on him.
You know what? Let me just say you know what, just so you can go
You go first, and I'll clean up.
I'll say this. Look, dude, like you went 156 miles per hour, and then you're doing that in a city like Las Vegas, where honestly, if anybody has ever been to Vegas, I've been to Vegas, give or take, it was over 10 years ago, but still, if you've seen how crowded that city is with just people walking the streets, it is so busy. It's impossible to even go 40 in that city. Confidently, it's impossible to go confidently 40 miles per hour.
Sober. 40 miles per hour sober.
Like it, yeah, like so.
Not 160 drunk.
And then you had a loaded gun in the car. Like,
You set yourself up for that one, Henry.
and see, and this is why I don't like the idea of professional sports being in a city like Las Vegas. It's so dangerous because there's so much temptation around you. There's gambling, there's alcohol, there's women. Which I mean, if you get you a good one, it's not a bad thing. But if you don't get the right one, that's a problem. But still, you know, like you know what I'm getting at. Like
Yeah. The NBA needs to have a second look at that. Their idea for that.
the NBA needs to have a second look at that. The NFL needs to have kind of.
Well, they can't move out of Vegas now after that stadium they put there. They're kind of stuck there. But the NBA, they've been talking there. Yeah, you guys need to second think that.
Exactly.
Seeing how the Raiders kind of been a dumpster fire the last. I think Josh Jacobs got his DUI last year. DUI thing too last year.
Mm-hmm.
In Vegas. So I mean, it's like these young guys. They're not. I don't want to say like they're incapable of controlling themselves there. But you gotta remember, these are some young men just becoming adults. Now turning 21, becoming able like legally to drink out in public. I mean, they're gonna have their temptations, like you were saying, come to them in Vegas, and like Henry Ruggs, man, you're 2 times over the blood alcohol limit, man. Just call an Uber and stop trying to impress a girl and go kill somebody instead. What you did,
Exactly.
and
And
you spent 20 years getting to that point to throw it away in 20 seconds.
exactly. And usually, see, I try to defend people and say, we all make mistakes and stuff, but the
That
fact
went
that
out the window when the
oh, yeah,
decals came out. That went out the window for me.
when I finally found out the severity of this and what all went into it, and like how fast he was going and everything, I knew right away, like, dude, you ain't coming back from this. You got released yesterday. He's already been booked and he's in the correctional facility that he's in and stuff. Like, it's just like it's not a good move. Ruined your life, man. Ruined your life. Like, I don't get it. And then the thing that makes it sad is you played for a guy that demands perfection and demands responsibility from his players. Like,
Saban, not Gruden.
oh yeah, of course, exactly. Oh, dude,
You got to
no,
clarify that.
yeah, no, not no, God, no, not Gruden. Like, come on, I don't get it. But yeah, let me get off this. Let me
All
get
right,
off.
let's get into some other AFC West news. Well, AFC NFC West now, I guess. But yes, I mean, they can't triple team Aaron Donald anymore. I guess that's all I could really say about this move. I mean, there's not much really. It's kind of like an overhyped move because it's the only big name to get traded, essentially. Because Melvin Ingram, he like 3-4 years ago, Melvin Ingram. So I mean, I don't really count that as a big name trade. But the Von Miller one, I mean, he's coming with the ankle injury he's got right now. I don't know when he's going to be fully healthy for that. And it's not like he's like 2015 Von Miller, like a complete tear on the end. So it's kind of hard to see him being like, they're kind of oversaying, like, I mean, sure, the Rams got like 3 of the best defensive players of the last decade on their team, but one of those players is in his twilight and not his. And Vaughn, I mean, like, you know what I'm
Right.
talking about?
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I mean, I felt like it was a decent move, honestly. I mean, they freed up space after they let Deshaun Jackson go and everything. So I mean, it was a good move. Although honestly, I was quite surprised they let Deshaun Jackson go. I thought Deshaun Jackson felt happy being there. But
I guess they're like what they're seeing from Atwell and Van Jefferson.
most
You gotta
likely,
remember they spent a second round pick on Jefferson last year, and they spent a second round on Atwell this year. And both of those guys weren't. Atwell wasn't even seeing offensive snaps at all because of Jackson.
right.
So how you got to think how much that move came in with the idea of putting Atwell more in the offense.
See, I didn't know that part. Wow.
Because Atwell's kind of like a speedster too.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk too much about speeds, I'm gonna crack a joke about the issue we talked about before.
Chill. Oh my gosh. All right, so let me bring up this one now for America. He's gone for a week.
At least
A week. Come to find out he's not vaccinated, which I mean, honestly, look, I don't care. It's not my business, but
I don't care, but
it's detrimental to your team.
the only thing I cared about with that whole thing with the Rodgers not being vaccinated is the fact that he was breaking protocol, but while the Saints lost a draft pick just for throwing a party in Tampa after beating the Bucks last year. The NFL took a day 3 pick from them for violating protocols for 1 second, while the Packers, they had Rodgers violating it almost the entire early part of the season, and even up I think until now. So I mean, it's kind of hard to see him like getting off of that without looking like complete double standards.
Right.
But I don't know unless they like do a ground and pound all the way through at Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, like running it like 40, 50 times.
You're
40
gonna
to
have
50 times total.
You're gonna have to throw it. And
They're gonna have to
honestly,
throw it eventually, but I mean, Devontae should be back, so that will help. But I don't know if Lazard's gonna be back. I think maybe they'll get Lazard and MVS back.
but I'm gonna tell you what else too. This game against the Chiefs this weekend has gone from being a blowout win to now it's not so much. I don't even know if
A
they'll even win.
blowout for the Packers.
Yeah, I don't even know if if Green Bay will even win this game now.
I mean, the Chiefs, as bad as they've looked, I don't even know if they can win it. They barely beat the Giants.
That's true too. That's true
Chiefs
too.
looking so bad.
Look, Aaron Jones and company, they're going to have to get off. Or honestly, he may have to run some type of trickery or run some little quick passes to kind of work Jordan Love into a rhythm and get him comfortable as
Yeah.
fast as possible.
I mean, we're like kind of acting like Jordan Love is a scrub, but I mean, he was a first round pick, so maybe like shows why the Green Bay thought he would be the successor to Rodgers. I have no idea. Just to be like an optimist for Green Bay fans. I mean, I know if Love does good for this game, imagine like if Love throws for like a Mike, like you know how Mike White threw for like 400 yards or whatever in his debut. If Jordan Love throws for 400 yards, beat the Chiefs, and has like 3 touchdowns, what does that do for Aaron Rodgers next season with the Packers? You got to put that in perspective too.
It creates controversy.
It does.
It creates controversy. It really does. So I mean, that's tough. That's tough. And so is this one. See, why he looking up at the ceiling, America? Look at him, America. I wish I could zoom in on him. He was looking. He thinking evil thoughts.
I'm thinking what I should say to not get myself in trouble about this shit. They will survive because the NFC is so bad behind them. Like they literally just might, as bad as the offense is gonna be, once people get Simeon, which the Bucks got after halftime essentially, and he tore on the third quarter until like they did the quick reverse play to Deontay. That's what they're gonna have to do when you think about it. Their whole offense is gonna be kind of misdirection and weird plays to Kamara and Deontay. And it'll be a lot of if a lot of short passes and a lot of power runs and a lot of options. Because I mean, I know Taysom started last year, which is why I think if he's healthy, he's going to start this week. I don't know. Trevor might have the better arm talent, but I don't know if Trevor is good enough to, he had some plays where he should have got picked off against the Bucks, and that's the worrying part. But the end bad behind them, they can literally go 5-5 and still make the playoffs.
Right.
And at this point, that's all they're going to do. But I'm more interested. I'll change my song that I'm singing right now if find a way to get Odell. If they get like Odell, I think you get a guy. If he could just run slants the entire game, he'd be fine.
Hey, because Slant Boy is not coming back this year, unfortunately.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Just run slants and he'd be fine.
And honestly, before we move on, I'm actually curious to know like if he'll even play another game, like as a Saint.
The one thing I gotta say on that is Sean Payton was singing a different song in this last couple of months compared to what he was during it. Was it August during preseason when they were fighting? Those two were beefing up. He was saying how he was working they were both sides, like he was saying Mike was trying to work every day trying to get back. So it's not like I don't think Mike is against him right now. It's more of that was a botched surgery on the doctor's part than it was on Mike Thomas or the Saints for him not to be playing this season.
Right.
Because that's what even Sean and Mike both said, that it was the surgery they didn't get right, and that's why you got to get it fixed back now. And Saints fans, they don't follow hockey too much. I know they don't have hockey in New Orleans, but it's kind of similar to the situation with Tarasenko. He didn't get hit he wanted a surgery at a different point, and his shoulder got messed up, and he was out for like 2 seasons essentially. And then this season he came back, he's fully healthy, and now he's actually playing back to normal. So consolation for the Saints fans. I mean, it has happened with players and they still stay around. And I don't know if Terrence saying because he did request a trade, but he has been playing well. So I mean, it's not impossible to have your beef and come back and play well for at least next season. The year after, I got no idea if they trade him, but he might get traded. If not, who knows? Hopefully he doesn't, because you don't find receivers like that on the streets. And since Brandon Cooks and Mike Thomas, they haven't drafted wide receivers like at all.
Right.
So
I got one more thing for the NFL, but I'm gonna save it for hot topics because I feel like it really doesn't need to be talked about because it's not talked about enough. But we're gonna slide to the NFL or to the NCAA real quick, college football.
NCAA smoking some crack.
I was very impressed this weekend with Florida State. They lost the game, but I was impressed. They hung tough with Clemson, which was something that they hadn't done in a while. I'm actually looking forward to the game when they come to when Clemson comes to Tallahassee next year, because I just want to see how that unfolds. But I came away impressed with Florida State. I gotta give it to them. They led it multiple points in that game too.
It was a pretty close game. I wasn't surprised it was a close game because Clemson looked pathetic all year, but I didn't think FSU's got enough leadership per se to get it done.
They do, and they're only going to mature more as time progresses.
I feel like we've been singing this song with FSU for the last 3 years that they haven't been mature enough to close out games, but it just feels like that's still their issue.
It is, and see, honestly, what happened. I expected at least. I don't know about everybody else. I expected Florida State to go in there and at least fight with Clemson. I didn't expect them to win it, but I expected them to go in there and at least fight with Clemson. And they did what I expected.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, if they were able to close out games properly, they'd probably be bowl eligible, I think, by now, because they wouldn't have got the Notre Dame loss, and they would have probably beat Jacksonville State.
Dude, they would. What are they? 3? They have 3 wins right now. They're 3-5.
They should have had be 5-3.
Yeah, Florida State should be 5-3, needing to win 1 more. But instead, they're 3-5, and they still need to win 3 more. They still got to play Miami and Florida left on schedule, and NC State.
All 3 of those they might lose.
Exactly. So you might not get a bowl game this year still. But if you do, I mean, honestly, if they do get a bowl game this year, if there is a winnable game out of those 3, I do think they can beat Miami. I don't know if they will, though.
I mean, Miami just beat, I think, Pitt.
Yeah, Miami beat a 1-loss Pitt team. So, I don't know. But also, too, the other thing that was surprising to me, because honestly, I didn't have my eye on this game a whole lot, mind you, give or take where I was. Michigan State rallied from 30 to 14.
I mean, I told you this was going to happen.
Dude, I'm telling you. And what did we say last week?
Which one? To beat Ohio State? And if you can't beat Michigan State, how you gonna beat Ohio State?
Exactly. And Ohio State's starting to play good football right now.
Yeah, they just beat up a tough Penn team. Penn State. I mean, not Penn.
A tough State Penn team.
State Penn team. Yeah.
Yeah, might as well. Little Jerry Sandusky jabs right there. But I'm dude. Heck, I'm with you, dude. Like, honestly, yeah. How do you plan on beating Ohio State and you can't beat Michigan State? Because Ohio State's figuring it out week by week, and you better believe by the time they get to that game, they're going to think about what everybody has said. They're going to think about what Urban Meyer, or not Urban Meyer. They're going to think about what Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And don't think Ohio State has forgotten about the end of last season either.
Which part about the end of last season? The last season did not end well for them.
Michigan basically dodged them and all this stuff. And then
with the COVID nonsense. Yeah, I know that part.
And Ryan Day said he was going to try to hang 100 on Jim Harbaugh if he could. Because
that Ohio State team is completely different than the one they got this year. Besides, when you really think about it, only Olave is really the only guy from the field they're like kind of hanging around on offense.
Yep. And
Only like the main piece.
But see, look, I can assure you, if I haven't forgot about that, I know nobody in that locker room's forgot about that. I'm just saying. So
Yeah.
y'all better get ready. Y'all better.
I mean,
ready.
they were already trolling Michigan. Remember when they had the guy like throwing the Michigan thing in the trash can? They kind of copied FAMU's Marching 100 with the dunk.
Yep.
Except they just dunked the Michigan in the trash can.
Yep. And see, the 100 sets the standards for other people to follow.
Mm-hmm.
But that
Nope.
brings me to this now. I'll be honest with you. I felt like they could have. This is the way I felt the order was going to go. I saw it going Georgia, Cincinnati, and then, whatever. You could have done whatever you wanted to do with 3 and 4.
It would have been like Oklahoma, Alabama. I really wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, like that would have felt realistic, but I feel like they've reached with Michigan
They have
State.
way too many SEC teams in there. I think it's like 7 or 8 of them in the top 25.
But see, look, and this goes back to what our friend Chris Torella said.
Yep, I know.
SEC, for one, the SEC has money, and the SEC has people that are going to
view it.
That are going to talk up for them.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to say, because honestly, look, because here, and this is what can happen. If Georgia loses the SEC championship,
you're breaking up. I didn't hear a word you said there.
If Georgia loses the SEC championship, Alabama and Georgia will both get in.
Oh yeah, that's not even a question. I mean, at the way how they have Alabama at number 2 right now, I swear if Alabama loses to Georgia in the SEC championship, they'll still have them at 4. That's how BS it will be.
Yeah, I can't see that.
The playoff committee is so messed up. I don't know. I mean, Ohio State, if whoever wins the Big 12 and Big 10 are going to be the other 2 seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And the way how they hate the Group 5 schools, I swear they're not going to put Cincinnati in. And they'll put, even if Cincinnati's undefeated, they'll put Alabama with 2 losses over them.
I don't think they'll do that. But I will say, I think that I think it is pretty messed up that they didn't put Cincinnati in the top 4 at least somewhere. But I do think, honestly, if I'm Alabama, I'm doing everything in my power to go into Jordan-Hare and win that game. And I'm also doing everything in my power to win that SEC championship to get in. Because honestly, I'll tell you this, Nick Saban hadn't been too good against ranked Auburn teams. In Jordan-Hare, he hasn't been too good.
I mean, I had this crazy thing. I was like, bro, just imagine if LSU just went and just beat Alabama and just messed up everybody. I doubt it's gonna happen, but I mean, like, it wouldn't shock me if LSU just goes. Orgeron's last go at it, he just goes and he beats Saban. I'll just die laughing if that happens.
Honestly,
that's highly unlikely as it will be.
Yeah, I still think Alabama wins that game by like 30 points, but the Iron Bowl is going to determine a lot.
I mean, I don't think it'll be 30 points because, I mean, LSU did beat up Florida, who was hanging in with Alabama. I mean, Alabama this year is beatable. It's not like they're world beaters like last year.
They are. You're right.
But I think that Auburn game, seeing how Auburn played against Ole Miss, yeah, Auburn's going to hang and maybe get them. I feel like Auburn might have a shot at getting them.
Because now Auburn sees what's at stake. Auburn sees now, like, okay, we could be that team that knocks them out of the playoff. Like, it's highly possible we could end this, and we could even go on to represent the SEC West as its champion. And if we lose the SEC championship, we can still go to the Sugar Bowl, which honestly brings me to this. Because it comes down to this now: which SEC school represents the SEC in the Sugar Bowl? Because this is the SEC's at large.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to put Ole Miss in, as fun as that team is. But even though they're like limping on offense at this point,
I think if Ole Miss wins out, Ole Miss won't get the Sugar Bowl. They'll get probably the Peach Bowl. Or no, the Peach Bowl's a playoff site this year, and so is the
yeah.
Never mind. So I mean, they'll probably get like the Cotton Bowl, maybe something like that.
I mean, they were hanging in with Auburn with like I think they were on their 6th and 7th receivers, I swear, or 5th and 6th. It was one of the two.
Mm,
But I mean, it was gonna most likely, like you were saying, was Auburn. I feel like it'll probably be Auburn.
probably.
It could with Ole Miss losing. I don't. It's gonna be hard to put them in there.
Yeah. See, so I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I will say. So we'll see what happens. That the finish in the east in the west is gonna be so it's gonna be crazy. And the thing about it is I think if it is Alabama, that game against Georgia will be interesting. If Auburn gets in, I think Georgia's definitely just going to go into the playoff undefeated and number one team in the country.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Georgia at this point is kind of a lock to get in.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with the Braves winning the World Series, I don't know if the Atlanta curse is finally broken from 28-3. So I mean, who knows?
I feel like honestly, that's you know what I mean. We got to go to Hot Topics to do this because oh man, you know what? Let's just we going over there now.
That was my transition right over to Hot Topics.
That was perfect. You know something, and I'm glad you did that because this Atlanta. Because see, here's the thing. Now that you've said that, I really feel like it's a I feel like it's a Falcons thing, honestly, now because the Braves now have won 2 World Series in the last 26 years. Because they won
At
one
least
in
it wasn't 25 years.
it was 90. It was 95 in this year, and so that makes me believe that they have a championship. Georgia has a national championship from 1980, and they're probably going to get one this year. As much as jokes as people make about Georgia being on VCR the last time they won it, or not even VCR, tape recorder, last time they won a championship. But
At least they got one.
exactly, at least Georgia got one. What do the Falcons have? Because the Falcons have been to 2 Super Bowls, and they haven't come up with anything.
I mean, when was the last time the Hawks won? I can't remember.
I don't even do. Ooh, honestly, that's
I gotta look that up. I don't remember. I'm trying to think. Like,
a good question. So while we look for this, so the Atlanta Hawks.
1958.
So the
Is that right? Am I looking at that? That's a yeah.
nice.
That's it. It was made. It was
So
an
the
original
Hawks-
franchise when it was made in 1949. Won its only championship in 1958.
So the Hawks
That's
have
the
a
Atlanta
championship.
Hawks, right?
The Georgia Bulldogs have a championship. The Braves have a championship. I think it really is the Falcons on their own that just are cursed. Because the Falcons have been, like I said, the Falcons have been to
I think
2
it's
Super
the
Bowls.
Birds. I think it's just the Birds of Atlanta.
Because John Elway retired after beating the Falcons in 98.
I mean, Brady didn't retire after beating the Falcons.
And then Brady came back on the Falcons in 2016.
The only team to ever Super Bowl after trailing the entire game.
Exactly. So, like, I really think it's just a Falcons thing. But congrats to the Atlanta Braves. But now that we've said that, this is my question I pose to you now.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about I saw somebody they had put a picture in it on ESPN. It had like the notifications that show up on your phone, and it said the Braves are the 2021 World Series champions or whatever. And right after that, like 2 minutes later, it said way too early 2022 predictions for MLB. Like really already? They just won, and you got to start this. Just give them like a week.
Hey, you got to do it, man. I'll be honest with you.
I think the Rays got a shot. I'm just me a homer. I think Franco helps them get over the hump.
Yeah, honestly, I think they need to like brush up the pitching.
Get rid of the drama.
Get rid of the drama.
Get rid of the drama.
I think the drama played a little bit of a role, but clean up the pitching just a little bit, make that stable a little bit stronger, and you got a
I mean, they
chance.
did lose a lot of guys from last year too.
They had guys that got hurt. Tyler Glass now,
Yeah,
he had it.
you got
He
a
had
Tommy John.
Johnson.
Somebody got a Tommy John. Yeah.
So I mean, you got guys you got to get back healthy, but I think you brush up a little bit, like, and get guys like back right and stuff. You have a chance there. Of course, you can never count out the Dodgers. I think the Braves are going to be back and be better, honestly. Um, who else is out there? I mean, well, the Cubs have kind of fallen off greatly, but I mean, there's the Padres. The Padres are another team to keep an eye on. The Brewers are a team to
What
keep an
about
eye on.
the Oakland? Do you think they'll figure themselves out?
Honestly, with Oakland, my question is can you get out of the wild card round? Because it always seems like they never get past the wild card.
Mm,
And to me,
that's true.
Oakland really hadn't been anything since like the 70s and the 80s.
Ah, shit. Celtics figured themselves out
So the Celtics are
in the
winning.
third quarter. Yeah, they outscored the Magic 31-10 in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're up 75-56.
Actually, honestly,
And they were down at halftime.
Here's what I wanted to ask you. Because, see, this is something I wanted to ask in the NFL, but I guess we can save it for hot topics. If you're the Chiefs, what do you do about Daniel Sorensen? Because it's pitiful at this point. He reminds me of a rich man's Chris Conti.
Why don't they play Thornhill before he tore his ACL a couple years when they won the Super Bowl? He was like the backbone for that with him and Matthew when they won the Super Bowl, and then he tore his ACL in the playoffs. I was like, why they got this thing with Sorensen, man?
I'm telling you,
He's literally Andrew Sendejo. Him and Andrew Sendejo are like Chris Conti essentially. They're out of their, or even Kirk Coleman. Remember Kirk Coleman? They're like old age safeties.
Sendejo has fallen off greatly since like when it was him and Harrison Smith together in this at playing safety in Minnesota. But Sorensen, dude, like I could just look at him and tell he wasn't all that. And he's getting beat. Guys are fighting for the ball over him and getting completions and stuff. And this is why I say the Chiefs need to go ahead and draft Marquise Bell out of FAMU, or go get the safety out of Notre Dame.
Hamilton. Cal Hamilton probably go top 10.
Yeah, like one of those two. Like you need to go get somebody in there.
I think Marquise Bell is probably an actual option.
Because look, if Marquise Bell can play in the box, he can play deep as well. And that would give Honey Badger an opportunity to roam however he pleases and do whatever he wants in the box. You could put either one in the box, honestly.
You can alternate depending on situation.
Because Daniel Sorensen ain't it. I'm telling you. Rich man's Chris Conti.
He's a liability.
Very. And you can't play in the secondary doing that.
There's a joke on Twitter where they said, I don't want to interrupt you, but it was kind of real. It was like, they said, the Packers got 5 days to show Jordan Love where Daniel Sorensen is.
Exactly. That if I'm Jordan Love, I'm going right at him.
You find I think it's 49 or 43, one of those numbers. You find him on the field and you just throw it to him every play. Throw it at him every play.
Exactly, because he's the weak link. And every time you look at Tyrann Mathieu like trailing a play like this, just like this, like what are you doing? So look, don't worry, it's gonna take care of itself soon. It really is.
All right, start him or sit him.
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes 30 seconds left. Yeah, start him or sit him. Bucks are on a bye week this week, so we got a few interesting things. I believe. Well, Kareem Hunt's on IR.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you someone that's actually been very impressive. Michael Carter. I would start him against Minnesota or against Indianapolis.
Yeah, with Mike White, man, this guy got like 9 catches or some crap. I was like, what the hell? But then again, I think Corey Davis was out.
Also, too, he was. Also, I wouldn't start it. I wouldn't start any Seahawks because the Seahawks are on a bye week.
There's like 4 or 5 of them on bye week this week, I think.
Uh-huh. How you feel about Najee Harris against Chicago?
Oh yeah, I don't think Coyle's playing again, and Elijah Mitchell ran all over him last week.
Mm-hmm.
And like the amount of volume Najee's getting, I'm like, bro, this man about to just average 20 a game every week.
Right. Also, too, how you feeling about Patrick Mahomes against Green Bay's defense?
They did give Cowher fits, but he also didn't have DeAndre, so Tyreek's gonna feast. I know that one. Because I think Mahomes, seeing him last Monday, he kind of figured out he's got to do the checkdowns a little more. Because you know, Tyreek got a lot of intermediate short routes.
Mm-hmm.
And he was throwing it to, what's the guy's name? Darrell Williams?
Yeah.
He was throwing it to him a lot, too.
I believe also, too, Mecole Hardman got in on the action.
Yeah, Kelsey had like 3 points, which was shocking.
They're trying to go away from him for now because they went to him a lot early in the season. But we're getting towards that midpoint in the season where they're kind of starting to go away from him, trying to open him back up.
Save him up. I think they're trying to save him a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Andy Reid knows what he's doing. How about your boy Harris for New Orleans against Atlanta?
I would say start him, but the whole thing is ain't nobody on that team could throw him a deep ball anymore. I mean, Sean Payton said Kamara was the emergency quarterback, and if it was Ian Book starting, I'd say yeah, start Deontay, but ain't no way in hell I'm starting Deontay with Taysom Hill at quarterback, and maybe not with Trevor Siemian. Mm-hmm. Ian Book is the only one I think can actually throw a deep ball, maybe.
You got a point there.
I mean, a lot of Saints fans want Ian Book to start. Spent a 4th round pick on him this season. Man, let him play. He ain't gonna be worse than Trevor Siemian.
But you know the thing about it is people, you know, a lot of people are probably afraid of is if he does go in and he balls out, and
that's it with Jameis.
Yeah, what do you do for next season when Jameis comes back?
Okay. Well, tell you this: they have no quarterbacks on the roster under contract beside Ian Book next season, and that's a fact. Not a single quarterback beside Book is under contract. So they have the door open because they did call for Russell. They asked Seattle about Russell Wilson at the deadline. And if Russell Wilson's available in the offseason, they're going to tell Jameis, I have a feeling they're going to say, see ya, and they're going after Russ.
Oh, of course. Because, I mean, I hate to say this about Jameis, but who would you rather have?
Russ.
Exactly. So, I mean, the truth is the truth.
Business is business.
Exactly.
Which is sad, but yeah.
Yeah. But folks, that's gonna do it for us on this episode. We made it again to another successful episode. We hope you
kind of slow. Kind of slow this one, I thought. We was taking this slow for obvious reasons.
It flew.
Set a symbolism.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we took it slow.
You didn't pick up on that, did you?
Oh no, I picked up on it now.
All right. Just making sure.
But yeah, we've enjoyed this. Honestly, we appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, like as it says below.
You know where to find us.
Yes, you do. It says it right down there.
And also, if you guys go to FAMU and you're watching this, man, go tell other people who go to FAMU about the show and FSU kids across the railroad tracks. Like, come on, man. I was talking to a buddy of mine who goes to FSU, and he ain't even heard of us, and he has a bunch of friends who go FAMU. Like, come on now, spread the love. Tell the people about us. We gotta help grow the channel. Exactly. Y'all know what this is about.
Exactly. I've been saying it for the longest, dude. Also, too, make sure you stay tuned for this Saturday at 6. I gotta get you on one of these.
But I think America likes seeing your pretty face or handsome face on the screen all by itself on Saturdays. I want to see a split screen.
Honestly, for once, it's gonna feel good to be able to watch the SEC on CBS and then like use this as a nightcap because there's no good games this weekend on Saturday night. So it's gonna be good to actually end the week with this. So it'll be interesting. But one more thing before we go. So are you taking the Colts or the Jets tomorrow night?
I got the Colts. I think Wentz can have a bounce back because he only had one interception until last week, and then everybody got on his tail for this week when he kind of had a relapse, if you want to say. But I like what I saw from Pittman this week. He got him double-digit targets, and it did not let him disappoint. So I think the Colts just have more talent per se than the Jets to come out on top. But then again, that's not the case in the NFL. It's gonna be close. All Thursday night games for some reason are close. So
understandable. Well, all right, folks, that's going to do it for us. We hope you've enjoyed. We'll see you next week on Wednesday. This is the only podcast we've got going right now because Last Give ended their season last night. So
we'll be back. I think the 23rd, the week of Thanksgiving, we'll be back, or the 30th, one of the 2 weeks. But we'll be back eventually. So you're gonna want to see me on Wednesdays.
Yes, and they can't wait because they love people.
I don't know. I never heard any comments, so
you got
don't get any. I mean, we keep telling them be interactive, engage in the comment section. I mean, come on now, people.
You got so much love last night. You really did.
How I get love last night? I ain't seen nothing. We want to say keep the grind going.
Oh my gosh. Y'all take care. I'm gonna go get me some meat. He needs to go eat too.
Me too.